Denzel Washington must take down the Italian mob in order to bring peace to a small Italian coastal town in The Equalizer 3, directed by Anton Fuqua, who directed Tears of the Sun, King Arthur 2004, Southpaw, and the first two Equalizer movies starring Denzel Washington. And also this was written by Richard Wenk, who did the previous two Equalizer movies and other stuff. Check out their respective IMDb pages for the full listing of their work, and I promise you all, I did not think that Anton Fuqua's last name sounded like Fupa. Don't Google Fupa. Don't. You're Googling it. You're Googling it. You're going to regret it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But now you can't unhear it. So, yeah, if you need a primer on the first two Equalizer movies, which, yes, Equalizer 3 is a sequel to Equalizer 2, and Equalizer 2 is a sequel to Equalizer 1. So, trilogy, because success. And Denzel Washington, who's a tremendous fucking actor, goddamn tremendous, has been great in movies for the last 35 or so years. Just goddamn great. I mean, Glory, so many other great movies. Sure, he's had some movies that weren't, all that great, but that wasn't his fault. Because he's a great goddamn actor. He's got to be on somebody's Mount Rushmore of, best actors the last 30 or 35 goddamn years. He's fucking tremendous. It's basically the concept of, hey, Liam Neeson was successful in Taken, so they're just going to throw money at him to be an old man, an old action hero in subsequent, action movies with diminishing returns. And John Wick, stuff like that. So they decide, hey, Equalizer, that's based on a popular television series. I guess you could say popular. I don't really know how popular it was. But nevertheless, if you remember the old Equalizer series, let me know. So, yeah, Robert McCall has a particular set of skills. In the first one, he basically was working at Home Mart, not Home Depot. How dare you say that? We were not calling it Home Depot. It's Home Mart. Shop Home Mart. He had to take down Russian gangsters that abused Chloe Grace Moretz, who was only in a little bit of that movie and then a little bit later on. But she showed why she is a tremendously gifted actress and has been great movies before and since then. And then the second one, it turns out more stuff from his past came back to haunt him. And Pedro Pascal was also in it. And that one wasn't nearly as good as the first one. Even though the first one had its issues, a little bit long in the tooth, it was certainly better than the second one. The second one, especially in the third act, really, really fell apart. But that being said, the third one is about 23 minutes shorter than the first one and about 12 minutes shorter than the second one. So, okay, trimming it down. That's good. So, Denzel Washington taking down Italian mobsters and also helping the citizens of this small Italian coastal town. That's it. That's pretty much it right there. There is a character named Gio. There was a cop that found him. It was me, Gio. Mamma mia. Okay, that's going to get me in trouble. I'm sorry. But yeah, he was a cop that found Robert, aka Denzel, after a certain operation. He had a setback there. And then he was fixed up by a doctor, had to convalesce, recover, all that. Learn basically that he is mortal despite, any injuries he may have suffered in the first two. He's more mortal here. And that whole thing lasts for a little bit in the movie, and then they seemingly just fucking forget about the goddamn thing because apparently he is Superman. And he meets various people, including some people that own certain shops and all this stuff going on. And he meets a woman named Amina Gaia Scoldellaro. Probably screwed up that name. I apologize if I do, but let me just say, fucking Christ, she is gorgeous. Look at her. Just look at her. Look at her. Check out her IMDb page. Check out some other stuff. I need to see more movies that she was in because my goddamn goodness, she was hot. And she was fine. As far as acting in this movie, she wasn't given much to do, but she was fine. And again, Jesus, good grief. So yeah, Denzel Washington basically, after he recovers, decides, okay, I'm happy and at peace in this town, so I'm just going to take people down. And then that just happens. The thing is about this movie is it's a lot of setup, and also there's a side thing where he's calling this one FBI agent, Emma Collins, played by Dakota Fanning, shrieking man on fire noises. Dakota Fanning is almost 30, and this does not compute with me because I still see her as a little girl from Man on Fire and various other movies and everything. And I know everybody grows up in ages, but good grief. Good grief. Anna Sophia Robb that was in Race to Witch Mountain. and was also in, I believe, Bridge of Terabithia. I did, like, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, she's a year older than Dakota Fanning. This does not compute in my head for some reason. Let's get back to the Equalizer 3. So from there, we have an Equalizer movie where we get some violence in the beginning, and then we get a lot of this of him recovering, and then all the setup and stuff like that, and then we get a little bit of violence, and then we get this, and then I'll tell you what it isn't. It isn't that good. The Equalizer 3 is not very good. While the first one had its issues, it was mostly pretty good. Second one, to me, really fell apart in the third act. This one doesn't really ever get going. I mean, he does stuff, but the thing is, at least in the first one, the villains sort of had a defined role. That was fine there. The second one, they tried to really add some meat and some drama to, like, you know, his past and everything coming back to get him, and it didn't really work. And in this one, none of the villains can make a dent. None of the villains. At least in the first two, they could sort of make a dent. Not in this one. It's just ridiculous. The action scenes are all right. They beefed up the budget from the first one, which was $55 million, $62 in the second one, to $70 million here. And I still have questions about the CGI. Like, there's no CGI train, but there's a point where there's, like, an explosion that happens, and some of the fire effects look absolutely terrible. And I know that CGI, you know, artists are overworked and stuff like that, but if you can't make the shit look halfway decent, don't fucking do it. If you can't shoot it right, don't fucking do it. There's a few things I'll get into in the spoilers that reward people that paid attention to the first two or were just halfway coherent, because not exactly a detailed narrative there. But it does have a fine wrap up there. Just the thing is, this movie feels almost like DLC to the second one, which really felt like DLC to the first one. As a trilogy, it felt like the first one was standalone, and then the next two were just add-on pieces with not much. Law of diminishing returns, as it were. Denzel Washington, of course, an anchor that can hold this thing up. And yeah, there are a couple halfway decent kills. But the movie is tonally inconsistent as well. It tries to go into this plot where the Italians are, you know, making deals with people they probably shouldn't be making deals with, these mobsters. But the mobsters are so indistinct, I struggle to remember their goddamn names. I mean, I struggle to remember. There's one called Vincent, and then there's others. Vincent seems like the one that's leading the whole goddamn operation, or at least thinks he is. But yeah, the Equalizer 3 just really isn't all that interesting or that good. And I gotta be honest, I was pretty much bored during this. I didn't really like this at all. Again, Guy, or however you say her name, that Aminov character, oh, Jesus Christ, I could not get over how beautiful she was. My goddamn goodness. But the thing is, any of the people that are put in peril, you know, any of the people, nothing, there's no stakes. There's nothing you can sink your teeth into. None of this really feels like, you know, like, okay, everybody's in danger. Like, after Robert has his setback, he's just fine. He's just totally fine. Which, yes, some people have recuperative powers, but nobody thinks, hey, wait a second, this happened. We should probably go for that setback area. Nope. We can't do that. That would be unfair. And nobody's threatening it. No, the villains are threatening. Everything just, it just ends, pretty much. It just ends. It ends with a couple neat little wrap-ups to tie into the first two, but that's it. That's pretty much it right there. I'm going to get into spoilers. It's in theaters. If you like the first two, you may enjoy this one, but honestly, first, and then second, and then third. And even then, this tries to be more like the first, but yeah, it's just, it's not very good, despite Denzel. And the woman that played Amina, sorry, she's beautiful. Anyway, let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, so remember in the second one when he did the lift stuff? Well, he went to this particular area that was selling pills and had all this cash from, you know, hacking stuff and whatever. And they were bringing it in the port, and he killed all these people. He jammed a gun in a guy's eye and shot people out, and then shot a guy in the butt with a shotgun. No, really, that's what he did. That was kind of funny. If we'd leaned more into that, that would have been fine. Turns out the guy that got his butt shot off also had a kid with him, a kid that ended up shooting Robert. Now, he nailed him, but didn't nail him as well. And the kid ran off, so seemingly the kid just ran back to town. And it seemed like that place was isolated, so that kid probably died because of whatever animals were on that island. But anyway, or in that area, because I don't know how many islands actually are in Italy. I know there's a really haunted island that the Italian government won't even send you to. That'd be fun to make a movie on. Let's get back to this movie. Yeah, Robert ends up getting on a ferry. He's bleeding. This guy Gio finds him, and he ends up recovering. And, gets to where he's walking with a cane. Gets to where he's fine. Realizes that after he recovers, he witnesses something, but because he's hobbled, he can't really do anything, but he remembers this stuff, and he ends up seeking revenge. He basically, if you've seen the trailer, he tells the one guy whose hand he pinches, that's the nerve and everything, that's a 3, you don't want it to go to a 4, and he tells him to get the operation out of there. Well, he doesn't, and he ends up killing them, jamming a knife in the guy's throat, or through his neck like that. And then he ends up pissing off Vincent, who is a brother that vows revenge. Now, mind you, by this point, we have maybe 50 minutes left of the movie, if that. And also, he's calling Emma Collins. Dakota Fanning. I imagine it was probably a thrill for them to work together again after Man on Fire. And I assume they did another movie together. I think they did, but I don't know. But what ends up happening, and this is really, really funny, is a callback to the previous movies with Bill Pullman and Melissa Leo's character, the Plumbers. It turns out that Susan was actually Emma's mother. And he basically chose her because he wanted to do right by her, by the mother, because the mother meant a lot to him. And he made sure that she got this really big deal, this really, cracked this case and everything. I'll take the case. And then that ends up helping her out. But she also gets caught in an explosion because the Italian mobsters are trying to make it look like, I believe, the Syrians. Another country is doing this stuff. But it's actually this guy Vincent, because he's just using other people to blow up shit. To make it look like it's the other people, but he's killing his own people. But this is where it gets really weird. This is really just where it gets weird and gets convoluted. But nevertheless, he also stole some money from that, that Italian, that operation in Sicily that was supposed to be a vineyard. And he ends up just stealing enough money to help a guy who got his pension hacked. And it was one of the people that he gave a lift to. And, because he was a Lyft driver in the second one. After working at Home Mart, not Home Depot, in the other one. And then, he ends up dispatching everybody, killing Vincent. After there's this standoff thing where the guy Gio, who was beat up by Vincent's brother before. That's how much I remember his characters. I don't remember his name, and I don't care. But I don't think it's the actor. I just don't care about the character. But Gio ends up getting his ear, ear shot. Ow! But then everybody suddenly decides, hey, wait a second, we're in the town square, we're going to record, and we're going to stand up. You want to shoot Robert, you got to shoot us. And then that goes nowhere because Vincent just leaves. And then Robert decides, okay, I checked, Emma is caught in this, Emma was caught in this explosion, but I have to go take care of Vincent. He eventually takes care of him, puts these pills in his mouth. It was this, like synthetic amphetamine type thing that basically would end up killing him. And it did. He died in the street. Like a dog. And then Denzel was celebrating with a guy, I love to celebrate with her. Boy, howdy. And there's a tease of a love interest. This is after he had lost his wife, Vivian. So everything's all happy. And also he greets Emma and tells her, hey, here's this bag. When you're recovered, go deliver it to this guy I gave a lift to. And also, here's this thing. I know your mother would be proud of you. They show a shot of Susan, of Bill Pullman and Melissa Leo. And that's it. That is it for the Equalizer 3. Yeah, that was certainly a movie. Certainly was. Certainly. C. It's a C. It's fine. Please let this be the last one. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickman. I'll see you soon.